What's going on, y'all? Falcons just lost 30-17 against Tampa. I'm not gonna lie, the game was way more competitive than I thought it was gonna be. I thought we were gonna get blown out, but the Falcons just couldn't get anything going in that second half, and the opportunities were there. I mean, the Falcons didn't have drives where they didn't move the ball, but in the second half, it came down to poor play calling, came down to several issues on this team. And this is the Falcons are still in the playoff picture, as believe it or not. But again, that's a loss that the Falcons probably are going to be kicking themselves for, because they definitely should have got away with one. They had their chances in this game. Although Tom cooked the Falcons defense in the first half, you had several opportunities to win this game or even score in the second half. Let me go to the comments real quick. Gilts, what's going on, bro? He said the left guard and center needs to be gone. Oh my God. Let me get started on that. Jalen Mayfield was an absolute bust of a first round pick. It sucks because he's a rookie, but he's not ready to be a left guard. He's not ready to be a left guard at all. And our center issue, we drafted Dalvin out of Stanford. We had Hennessy from last season. The Falcons have done a horrible job in the department of the offensive line. The offensive line is still bad, but even at times in the game where the play calling was bad, the offensive line gave up 5 sacks today. Matt Ryan got hit over 13 times, and it's the same story in most of these games. We're not able to block a lot of people, and it's just horrible. Like, this team, I still say it's a miracle they've won 5 games, because games like this shows you what you really are. And we actually ran well today, but had third and shorts where we were trying to just to even go back before the draft had just happened. We had a 3rd down and 2 in Tampa territory, down 13. The Falcons decide to go empty bunch wide with Keith Smith and Lee Smith, who was our fullback and our tight end, spread out wide. They decided to do that. Matt Ryan looking the other way, looking for Kyle Pitts, missed the Cordero Patterson that was open, but the line couldn't hold up, turned into an intentional ground, and we punted. Tampa ended up getting the field goal. That's how the game ended. At this point, Arthur Smith was calling horrible play calls. Another drive in this game where, let me go to the comments real quick. Tevin, what's up, bro? He said we suck. Player calling horrible. O-line, who had plenty of chances. Yeah, this was not a Falcon loss where we just didn't have a shot. The Falcons had an opportunity. One of the biggest blown opportunities in this game was in the second quarter, where the Falcons gets 1st and goal and do not run the ball. They run the ball 0 times. You roll out with, I'm not even sure who they rolled out on that play. He had a rollout incompletion. It was 4 plays where there was no run. You're at the 1. Run the ball. The Falcons had 91 yards rushing in the first quarter against the number 1 rush defense in football. And we said, okay, we're trying to throw it. We're trying to get it. We're going to throw it in the end zone. Dumb play calling. Dumb coaching. Your offensive-minded head coach at the 1, that's your bread and butter. Go make the touchdown. It makes no sense how you continue to call dumb play calling. Like the drive I just mentioned. That 1st and goal, that 3rd and 2 at the Falcons, in Tampa's territory, where you're spreading 5 wide out when what should be a run formation. Run the ball again. Play 4 down territory. You're down 10 at home. Side note, the Falcons have not won a home game in 2021. That is embarrassing. We have played 5 home games at Mercedes-Benz and have not won 1 home game. That's not a good look for a team that needs home field advantage. That is not a good look. And unfortunately, this team is 5-7 and still in the playoff picture for God knows what. And that's just embarrassing. Let's go to the comments. Giusy said it may have lost friend. Oh, man. It's tough. I won't even lie to you. It's tough. It's tough. It is tough. And unfortunately, the Falcons still have some winnable ball games left. But today, you had an opportunity to get a win on one of the best teams in football. And also, just to even go over this, hold on, let me go to the comments again. Rob, what's up, bro? He said, Kyle Hamilton, we could use a free safety. We could use safety help big time in that back. Let me also go into that situation as well for the Falcons. The Falcons decided to go zone against Tom Brady. Tom Brady and that receiving core, it's going to be a long day for you. We don't have the secondary outside of A.J. Terrell to play man. You're going zone against him. Come on, man. You're going zone against Tom Brady and Gronk and Chris Godwin, who, by the way, had 15 catches for $134 because we couldn't get off the field on third down. There was one drive in the game where Adonijay is covering the touchdown drive to Gronk. Adonijay is out there covering the flat on Chris Godwin. That can't happen, Dean Pease. So as bad as this defense is, talent-wise, we know what we're lacking. But coaching has also been a letdown at times in this game too. You cannot sit here and have a defensive lineman out here covering Chris Godwin. That's embarrassing. Rob said, Tank, we got ourselves in a rough spot. We won 5 games, unfortunately. And it's like you can't really find yourself in a tank spot because you're in the thick of a playoff picture. So it's ridiculous. Rob also said running backs, defensive backs, throw the pressure to football. Those are the two positions where we're strongly lacking at. And Cordero Patterson has done everything he possibly can for us on this team. It's only so many games. There's only so much he can do, especially when he's not getting the ball to benefit him in perfect situations. There should have been throws to him in this game. He should have been out wide as a receiver at times. And they didn't even think about it. So sometimes Arthur Smith gets in his own way. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Let's see. He said, winnable game. I didn't see it. The game was winnable. It was a winnable ball game because at the end of the day, you were moving the ball on Tampa Bay. A defense that is pretty solid. You were moving the ball. And you just weren't executing in the red zone. You weren't executing in the red zone. We had 3 drives where we ran the clock, got 30 or 40 yards out of it, punt, fumble, punt. You're not winning a ball game like that. And then your defense did enough. Oh, shout out to the Lions. The Lions just won a game. Okay, I see JD said that. Yes, sir. Shout out Lions. They didn't go winless. Good dub, Lions. That also, the Vikings losing just made the playoff picture again doable for the Falcons, which is another unfortunate thing with this 17 playoff race. AJ said, let's have hope in the Falcons. He said, I will have some hope if we can actually block against good defenses and good defenses against good teams. That pick strip was a strip tease and a waste. Yes, it was. That defensive pick 6 gave us momentum to go into the second half. Then we had the fumble from Russell Gage. That totally negated that drive. That could have been a tie. Who knows what that drive could have been? You could have tied the game at least. Could have been 20-20. But then you find yourself in a position where your offense gets the ball back. You drive 30-something yards. Plays get stopped. It's too many times where the defense had a bad first half. They gave up 7 points. Well, 10. They gave up 7 in the second half on one long touchdown drive. At a point, you got to coach your team to win a ball game. It hasn't been done yet. And that's why the Falcons are sitting at 5-7. Gibson said the Falcons going to start covering. Oh, man, that's funny. Rob also said we can't play man, got to play zone. It's either or is not good for us at this moment. The Falcons can't do either. Rob said no pressure from the D-line all season. No, outside of Grady Jarrett, nobody else gets home for the defensive line. And Dante Fowler is constantly missing. The rookies, they are trying, but this is such a weird defense. You have D-ends lining up as linebackers. You have linebackers lining up in coverage, and it's just all over the place. The Falcons are just in a tough spot where you don't have a lot of talent, but you don't know what to do with your talent. JD also said this was on coaches, all on coaches this game. Your quarterback played well. Your running backs rushed for over 100 yards. 3 of your receivers played their heart out, and your defense played well, and you lose. It's on the coaches. Yes, it is. This game also came down to coaching because, once again, the Falcons got into a spot where they were winning. They were in position to win the game. Again, as I mentioned, the 3 points that we walked away with on the drive, we got to the 1 yard line. That's a mistake. You cannot do those things if you're trying to win a ball game. You can't do it. The defense allowing Gronk to be one-on-one with Eric Harris on that touchdown to put him up by 10, you can't allow that. It's really, really bad. When you play good teams, you start to see how bad we are talent-wise. Because also, you look at the fact that Matt Ryan got sacked 5 times today. Because Jalen Mayfield, the rookie guard out of Michigan, is absolutely awful. We wasted a draft pick on him. We could have used it on a running back or a defensive end or a pass rusher. We put a 3rd round pick on Jalen Mayfield a waste. Dalvin, the center out of Stafford, he also was bad today. We don't have. This is also another reason why getting vets on this offensive line is imperative. You can't draft well in that offensive line, then you need to go ahead and just invest veterans. It's okay to say that you can't really get an offensive lineman and hit on it in a draft. We're having these same issues week after week after week. In particular, the left side of the offensive line has struggled all season long. Jake Matthews plays like he's a rookie and not an 8-year veteran. Jalen Mayfield, I watched Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh, and every person that lined up against him get after Matt Ryan. So there were times in the game where, Matt could have put an underneath pass, but you can't do anything when you got your whole left side getting bull rushed the whole game. It's embarrassing. AJ said the Falcons can't cover an ice cube. They can't. And Gibson said they can't block the ice cube, though. They cannot. They cannot. Ron said playoffs. Don't talk about the playoffs. Playoffs? Hey, this is not a playoff team, but they're in the race. So it's unfortunate. Rob also said that we are devoid of talent. We need to win big in the draft. Yes, we do. This is why when I look at the situation with the Falcons, you're in a spot where you may need to, you gotta consider moving some of those big pieces on your team. Because you're going to have to look into this situation right here. The Falcons are one of the worst offensive lines in the league. The defensive line, I'm not sure if we had a sack today. Please correct me because I do not remember. But let me check. Matter of fact, I'm checking right now. The Falcons did not have a sack today. The Falcons, guys, through 12 games have 15 sacks. That is the worst in the NFL. You're not going to win any ball game with no sack in the game. We had 15 sacks the whole season. That's awful. Gibson said, why was AJ Terrell covering Gronk? He really wasn't on Gronk for most of the game. He actually had more reps against Mike Evans. He actually had a pretty bad day against Mike Evans. Tom missed a couple of throws in that game. Also, he said, and what was Deion Jones? Deion Jones has been lost in coverage a lot this season. He's been lost. Honestly, Foye Oluokun has been the best linebacker on the team. Deion Jones is another guy who I wouldn't be opposed to moving this offseason. I know a lot of fans don't agree with that, but at the end of the day, you're in a position where you're so bad on defense, you need to get pieces here. What's going on, bro? Said roll time. Anyways, next. Gipsy said that Matthews ain't been the same since the ACL injury. No, he hasn't. That is really true. That is really true. That is very true that he hasn't been the same. It just sucks. He also said Mayfield is a raw rookie, but then types of players will get eaten up by Suh and Vita Vea. It wouldn't be so bad if he didn't get these issues happening against most defensive tackles. Like last week in the Jacksonville game, Gostin for Jacksonville, their defensive tackle, had a field day on Jalen Mayfield as well. So it's not even just the fact that he's having issues with his defensive line, with defensive linemen like this. This is a dominant defensive line. But The problem is when you're struggling with like Jacksonville, the Jets, those guys like that, this is a problem. JD said the same. This defense moved to a 3-4. Edge rushers can be the key, find a dominant safety. The problem is this. I think this team is a 3-4 defense, but we don't have pieces to do it because technically speaking, Grady's listed as a right end. Tyler Davis is listed as a defensive tackle. Bullard, who's a defensive tackle, is listed as a right end. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have any pieces to be a 3-4 defense. So they don't even know who they want to be at this point. He also said, I build defense first. Yeah, that's true. That can also take you a long way. And said that they'll be better with a 3-4. I think they would be better in a 3-4 defense. It's just taking a lot of time to get there. He said, trade back Ryan for Deshaun Watson. I don't know if they would take that contract on. Honestly, I don't know if they would take that contract on from us. He said, I love Deion, but if we can move his money to get a portion of that to Foye, then we can spread it out. I don't disagree with that. Because I feel like the Falcons are going to have to make a decision at some point to say, okay, we got to let one of these decent guys go. We're going to have to let these guys go. So it's tough. He also said Russell Gage had 130 yards. Russell Gage had a pretty good game outside of that fumble. He had a pretty good day today. Tevin said Parsons would have been a perfect pick at number 4, but don't get me started. Oh, my God. No, we're not going to get started with that, bro. We're not. This is a conversation that we will forever have because at the end of the day, I wanted Michael Parsons, but we took Kyle Pitts. We lead at the top for the day. John said, love you, bro. Love you too, man. Hey, leave the boys alone, though. JD said, I call him 54 because it's hard to say his name. I will keep him and convert him to a 3-4 defense. I agree with that. I like him at linebacker, though. I think he should. I like the fact they put him at middle linebacker. I think actually you should kick Deion to the outside and not have him as a middle linebacker anymore if it was me. But as far as his name, I just started getting his name down last season. It's Foye Aluakon. His full name is Foye Sade Aluakon, I believe. Finally, I had got his name right because it took me forever to get his name right. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Justin called me milk dud. Bye, Justin. He said this draft will mostly be defensive. Kayvon Thibodeau, please. He's not going past number 1. I'm going to tell you that. He's not going past number 1. So we can kick ourselves out that race. He said he's begging at this point. I understand. He said it's a hybrid defense. The only defense is edge rushers don't get coverage. I don't know what we call this defense. So, yeah. He said I would move Deion Jones and keep 54. I would too. That's the same thing I would do. I would definitely keep Aluakon to say good riddance. Justin said the Falcons need to hire you. That's it. Hey, I'll get this thing right. I will write this ship quick. Jay, what's up, bro? He said throw the whole team away. I feel the same way. He said they need to hire him as GM. Hey, you make it happen, bro. I know you would. Let's see. He said he would have, though. He would have. Yeah, I do agree with that. Myra said, wait, are we not already a 3-4 defense? Not this good one. We are a 3-4 defense because Dean Pease ran 3-4 in Baltimore. That's the other issue that we have. Like, we're already a 3-4 defense. We just can't stop, man. We can't stop a blanket. It's just sad. This team is horrible. Let's see. JD said Mike Davis saw my video. Mike Davis is in the Atlanta Bird game because I swear he was hitting that hole today on that touchdown that he got to open the game. He definitely saw the hole that you were talking about, that Jacksonville game. Jay said, start a petition. Yes, sir. I will start that petition. I will start it. What's up, real? He said he put the trash can emoji. I feel you. That's how our season's been going. And he said he's already in that season. Man, I'm ready for the draft. Just to be honest with you, I'm ready to get these 5 games over with. Why did the NFL give us 5 or extra game? I don't want to see the rest of this. And the unfortunate thing is the Falcons, like I said, they're still in the middle of the playoff race at 5-7 with 10 other teams. And the Vikings, with the Vikings losing to the Lions, they're still, like I said, they're in the race. The Falcons still got Tampa, They got Carolina coming up next week without a Christian McCaffrey. I'm not sure what that team's going to look like when we go up there next week. You still got the 49ers and you got the Bills down the stretch. Like, you got games that you can win. I consider this as one of our 2 L's, with the Bills being another one down the stretch. So the bad part about it is the Falcons have games where they can win, but this team is so inefficient talent-wise that it's hard. Let's see. Let's move on back to the draft. We must go defense. And yes, we do. Got to go defense. And to be honest, our first 3 picks should be defensive based if we can do it, or if we can move the draft, like move picks and get up in this draft. We have 2 seconds, so we'll see what they do with that. Gibbsy said this ain't an A+ draft. These, so this is the problem. I don't think they knew what direction they were going in. They said they were in a win now mode position, but they're not even that good to consider winning now. Because when you think about our draft class right now, I think I see the potential in Kyle Pitts. I didn't agree with the pick, but I see the potential in Kyle Pitts. We got to get some talent, though, in the receiving core, because I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Calvin Ridley after this season. So who knows? As far as Richie Grant had a couple of good plays in this game. I hate he got hurt. We tried to invest in the offensive and defensive line, and that just was the wrong time of the draft to do it. I don't think those guys are ready. Like, you got a lot of rookies out here who really should be taking time to learn, and they're not there. They aren't there. It sucks. Jay said, I wish we could have ate Matt Ryan and Julio contract. Yeah, I do too. I honestly do too, because at this point, the Falcons are stuck with this Matt Ryan contract for another year. Well, 2 years. You could possibly get out that contract in 23, but at that point, you will honestly just have to let him walk after 23, because you don't want to extend it and then put Matt Ryan's contract deeper into debt with this Falcon organization. You got some contracts you can get off after the season. So, it's hard, because I'm glad we got off the Julio contract, but next year we got this is the thing. Another reason why I agree with what Jay just said. I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to the salary cap. Julio's contract is going to be off the books after 22. So we're going to have a $22 million, $15 million hit next year from Julio. Could we have potentially got off Matt Ryan's contract after 22? Then we might have had a ton of money in a lot of ways to rebuild this team. The rebuild's going to take a little longer because of the fact we still got this Matt Ryan contract on the team. And then, unfortunately, for the fans that are ready to get another quarterback, don't get me wrong, I'm ready to get another quarterback too. But at this moment, we don't have – when you look at the landscape of college football right now, there's not a quarterback I'm taking early. I'm not taking a Matt Corral early, even though he's going to probably go top 10 to 15. I'm not taking none of those guys early, unless someone just decide to come back and destroy, the playoff or the bowl game and have a great offseason, then I don't see it happening. But that's where we picked the wrong time to be in a quarterback needy spot. Don said David GM would be defensive coordinator. Hey, that'll work. He also said this is going to be an interesting offseason. Yeah, it is going to be an interesting offseason, because now that you had a year to see what you got, now you have a lot to decide this offseason with the Falcons. Gizzy said we're broke. We absolutely are. The one saving grace for the Falcons is before this game, the NFL agreed that they're going to go to a $202 million salary cap, which is going to put the Falcons at $28 million under the salary cap going into 2022. Also, the problem is with that, I don't want to put this. You got $28 million going in. The problem is the Falcons gonna have to move some of them contracts. I do think between Grady, Debo, lost track of his name, Jake Matthews, my bad. Jake Matthews, one of those 3 contracts have to be moved, because you're not gonna get any better with those contracts on your roster. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound negative by that, but you got to move one of those contracts quick, fast, in a hurry, because we're going to be stuck if you don't. Let's see. JD also said all you have to do is build a defense first, and then when Matt Ryan leaves, they find a new franchise quarterback. You have a strong defensive five small piece to help your new quarterback. I agree with that, but here's where the Falcons went wrong this draft. They didn't know we didn't really look. We didn't really look like we were trying to make any moves, to be honest with you. We negated that by getting Kyle Pitts. Nothing against Kyle Pitts either. But the Falcons should have said, okay, either we're going to build this side of the ball up early on or build this side of the ball up going into this season, and we'll do it that way. Because now the Falcons have got to go into a draft that's got talent, but you should have been doing it over two drafts. You should have been doing it over two drafts. Going to the rest of the comments. Okay, you said Jay said Jake. Yeah, that's the contract I would move to if I was the Falcons. I would easily move Jake Matthews' contract. Myron said we need left guard and center upgraded. If we can't do both, we need both upgraded, to be honest with you, because the Falcons are going to be in a stuck spot next season if they don't upgrade both sides. This is why you don't sit here and draft a center 4th, 5th round who's not ready. And you should have had Alex Mack's replacement, a solid Alex Mack replacement, because we did draft Matt Hennessy, and Matt Hennessy is awful. Go ahead and get it out of the way. He's terrible. He sucks. Jalen Mayfield shouldn't have been starting this season. He's horrible, but he's also a rookie. So it's like, it's a rough spot for the Falcons. Jay said we should have traded down. Yep, exactly. We were number 4 in the draft. We should have traded down. We had a ton of picks that we could have got out of trading out of number 4. Now the Falcons are, matter of fact, I'm not sure. Matter of fact, I need to see what the draft order was heading into this week. Give me a second. So let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get this draft order pulled up. So according to CBS Sports, the Falcons currently will pick 11th in the draft. They will pick 11th. So right now, the Falcons are pick number 11 in the draft if the season ended today. But the one thing about it with the Falcons is, they lost to the Panthers, they lost to the Eagles, so they would be in the top 10 if the Falcons were in a position where they didn't win out. But because they only had 6 losses entering this game, they were number 11. He said we're in the top 10. Yeah, we're going to be number 8 probably at the end of this week because us being 5 and 7, we lost to the Eagles and Panthers, will probably put us in the top 10. And you said number, yeah, I think it's going to probably be number 8, maybe even number 7, depending on how everything else plays out. But again, Falcons are in a tough spot. And they got some games coming up. Like I said, the Falcons aren't in a spot where you are so bad to where you can just drop dubs and that's going to be your position. So, I don't know, guys. We got to see what these Falcons are going to do. But the sad part about it is a lot of people in front of you beat. You beat the Jets. You beat the Giants. You beat the Jaguars. So the positions that you could have been in a little higher in the draft, I'm not going to blame them for winning games because you don't come into a game saying you're going to lose. But again, the Falcons have 5 wins against teams that are pretty bad right now. You also got you got games coming up against the Lions. You got games coming up against the Saints and the Panthers. So you got definitely a lot of unfortunately winnable games for a team that needs every piece possible. Tevin said athlete take for the rest of the year. That would be true, but I don't know if they're going to do it like that. He said this is an unpopular opinion. We need a safety. No, we do need a safety. We need several pieces in that secondary. Definitely several pieces in the secondary. This is a rough one for the Falcons. But again, Falcons lose 30-17. They're going to fall to 5 and 7. They're still in the playoff hunt. Next week, we got the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. We will be back to talk about this game at some time. We'll be back to talk about them at some point before the week is over with. And we also will be talking to the Georgia Bulldogs. They had a rough loss yesterday against Alabama. But we're going to talk about the playoff preview against Michigan at some point. So be on the lookout for that too. If you want to tune in and see me talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. I haven't done it yet, so it's going to be new for me. But again, Falcons took a rough loss. I'm going to watch these 4 o'clock games. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, I guess rise up. I guess.